Did something terrifying just happen to Jungkook of BTS? Police cars and ambulances rushed to his home in the middle of the night, leaving armies in shock. What truly happened inside that quiet house? And is Jungkook safe? Stay until the end and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. Did something unimaginable just happen to Jungkook of BTS? Why were police cars and ambulances seen racing toward his home in the middle of the night? And what terrifying truth are fans now struggling to accept? Stay until the end and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if your heart is racing just reading this. Because what unfolded in Jungkook's quiet neighborhood left the world holding its breath and armies everywhere in panic. It was supposed to be just another peaceful night in Seoul. Calm skies, a faint breeze, and the city lights glowing gently in the distance. But suddenly, a flicker of blue and red lights pierced through the calm darkness. Sirens echoed through the narrow streets of Itaewon, and in that very moment, the internet exploded. Fans who lived nearby started posting videos and photos, whispering in disbelief, "Something's happening at Jungkook's house." Within minutes, hashtags like #StaySafeJungkook and #ProtectJungkook began trending worldwide. What had started as a quiet evening was turning into a nightmare no one saw coming. According to eyewitnesses, several police vehicles and an ambulance were seen rushing toward the gated residence known to belong to Jungkook. Some claimed they heard loud voices. Others said they saw unfamiliar figures running through the alley before the police arrived. Was it just a misunderstanding, or had something far more dangerous taken place? Rumors spread faster than the flashing lights that illuminated the dark Seoul night. Fans across the globe stayed glued to their screens, desperate for an update, terrified of what they might read next. Reports began circulating that an intruder had broken into Jungkook's home. The word break-in alone was enough to send millions of armies into a frenzy. How could someone even think of invading the private space of one of the most loved idols in the world? And more importantly, was Jungkook safe? That question echoed endlessly in the minds of fans as they flooded social media with prayers, messages of protection, and demands for answers. Witnesses near the scene described the atmosphere as tense and surreal. There were police everywhere. One neighbor reportedly said in a trembling voice, "They told us to stay back." The ambulances arrived shortly after, and everyone was whispering. It felt like time had stopped. Nobody knew if Jungkook was home when it happened. Nobody knew if anyone had been hurt. Every small sound, every shadow behind the police tape sent shivers down people's spines as dawn approached. The confusion only deepened. Some sources close to the situation hinted that Jungkook was inside the house when the break-in occurred but managed to call for help just in time. Others claimed he had been out for a late-night recording session and returned to find chaos waiting for him. The truth was buried under waves of speculation, and fans were left clinging to every unconfirmed whisper. But one thing was certain: something deeply unsettling had shaken the world of BTS's golden magne. Social media became a battlefield of emotions. Armies were crying, praying, shouting, trying to understand how this could have happened. He gives so much love to the world, and this is what he gets in return. One fan posted, her words capturing the heartbreak of millions. Others were furious, demanding stricter security for idols and calling out the invasion of privacy that celebrities endure daily. Some fans gathered outside HYBE's headquarters, holding candles and signs that read, "Protect Jungkook. Protect our artist." Inside HYBE, according to industry insiders, panic and disbelief filled the air. The company's security team reportedly worked closely with the police, reviewing CCTV footage and strengthening all security protocols for BTS members. They released no official statement at first, which only fueled more speculation. Why were they silent? Were they hiding something? Or were they simply trying to protect Jungkook's mental well-being during such a traumatic moment? By morning, the streets around Jungkook's residence were still blocked off. Cameras flashed as reporters tried to capture even a glimpse of what was happening inside. Some fans believed they saw Jungkook being escorted out, his head down, surrounded by security, while others insisted it was just a staff member. Every frame, every shadow became a clue and a mystery that no one wanted to believe was real. Then came the moment that shattered everyone's heart. A voice recording began circulating online, allegedly of Jungkook's voice calling emergency services. The voice, shaky but calm, said something that froze fans in place. "Someone's inside. Please come quickly." Whether real or fabricated, the recording spread like wildfire, and fans couldn't hold back their tears. The thought of Jungkook, the same person who always smiled so brightly on stage, facing such fear alone in his own home was unbearable. As more information trickled out, police sources reportedly confirmed signs of forced entry. The suspect, they said, might have been someone who had been stalking Jungkook for months. That revelation sent another wave of anger through the fandom. How many times had Jungkook mentioned feeling watched, feeling like he had no real privacy? In past live streams, he had laughed it off, calling himself careful but not paranoid. Now those words felt haunting. The emotional weight of the event reached far beyond Korea. Fans in the US, Europe, and Southeast Asia began organizing online vigils and message threads to support Jungkook. Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube overflowed with fan edits showing his smiling moments, with captions like, "You are not alone," and "Stay strong, Jungkook." Even celebrities began posting words of encouragement, reminding the world that fame doesn't protect anyone from fear or danger. As hours passed, one question remained louder than any siren or rumor. Was Jungkook okay? Was he physically safe, emotionally stable, and surrounded by people who truly cared for him beyond the glitz of stardom? The thought of him trembling in fear, in a place meant to be his safe haven, broke the hearts of millions. And yet, through the silence, fans clung to hope, the same hope Jungkook himself had always inspired in them through his music and kindness. Finally, after nearly 24 hours of uncertainty, a brief statement surfaced online. It was short, cautious, but enough to bring some relief. "We confirm there was an incident at Jungkook's residence. He is safe and currently cooperating with authorities. We ask for understanding and privacy." That was all they said, but it was enough to make fans exhale after holding their breath for so long. He was safe, but the scars of fear, both physical and emotional, would take time to heal. The next days were filled with reflection. Fans couldn't stop thinking, what if the police hadn't arrived in time? What if Jungkook hadn't called for help? What if things had ended differently? Those haunting questions echoed in every corner of the fandom. And yet, amid the shock, ARMY showed their most beautiful side, turning panic into protection, fear into solidarity, and chaos into compassion. Still, something about the incident feels unresolved. Who was behind the break-in? Was it just a desperate fan gone too far, or something more sinister? Theories continue to swirl. Some suggest it was a planned act, others believe it was random, but the truth, as always, seems just out of reach. And until Jungkook himself speaks, the mystery will linger in the minds of millions. And the following days, Jungkook reportedly stayed away from public appearances. He turned off his social media, leaving behind a silence that fans could feel in their bones. For someone who always connected with the world through his music and live broadcasts, that silence was deafening. Some said it was for his healing. Others worried it was a sign of trauma. All anyone wanted was to see him smile again, to hear his voice, to know that he had found peace after such a frightening ordeal. As the investigation continued, police hinted that multiple suspects might be involved. A network of individuals obsessed with BTS had allegedly shared private information online, selling details about the members' whereabouts and home addresses. The revelation sent chills through the fandom, a stark reminder of how dangerous obsession can become when boundaries are shattered. Even now, weeks later, the image of flashing lights outside Jungkook's home remains burned into the minds of armies. It was a night that changed everything. Not just for Jungkook, but for everyone who loves him. It reminded the world that idols, no matter how bright their stage lights shine, are still human. They feel fear,